Right, face. Color guard. Close to colors. Color guard. Left face. Smith.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to start off by saying thank you to everyone in attendance and welcome to Edison High School. Today we'll be honoring our veterans who have selflessly served and are serving currently. Veterans Day is an extremely important day of the year, but has a new significant meaning in our hearts this year especially because of the passing of our hometown hero, Navy Corpsman Maxton Soviak. We celebrate this day to honor the ones who put their lives on the line to defend the freedoms that we often take for granted. Every year, Veterans Day is celebrated on November 11th due to the fact that World War I came to an end on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. President Wilson proclaimed November 11th to be Armistice Day, the precursor to Veterans Day, in 1919. This day was set aside to be a day to celebrate world peace in honor of veterans of World War I. In 1938, it became a legal holiday and from there on was used to honor all veterans. In 1954, President Eisenhower issued the first Veterans Day proclamation. At first, it was going to be a day filled with parades and celebration, but more recently has taken a more somber tone as we have realized the importance and significance of this day. Throughout the years, Veterans Day has undergone many changes, but the message has remained the same. Celebrate and honor our veterans and treat them with the utmost respect. Today with us, we have Governor Mike DeWine, First Lady DeWine, retired Major General Deborah Ashtonhurst, Major General John C. Harris Jr. Our first speaker is Major General John C. Harris Jr. Major General Harris began his career when he enlisted in the Ohio Army National Guard in 1981. Since then, he has become the Governor DeWine's principal advisor on all national procedures and is responsible for all state and federal missions. Please welcome Major General John C. Harris Jr.
Thank you for that kind introduction. And thank you for the inspiration this morning. And out of all due respect for the Edison staff, thank you for who you are and your support this morning. And all due respect to our veterans, but I have to say that this morning it's the students that have inspired me. With your reception, but as I see the number of Eagle Scouts here, as I watch these young people stand to their feet as the colors came into the room, I'm so inspired and so optimistic about the future of our country. Thank you. Thank you all so much for inspiring me. And seated before you are a number of veterans. And I will bet you that every one of these veterans can remember, like it was yesterday, the moment they took that oath to join the military. I see lots of heads now nodding north and south. And they can probably remember the words of that oath verbatim. I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and on and on and on. Look at the heads nodding north and south. But I think that equally as important as the words that are spoken in that oath are the words that are not spoken, the unspoken oath that's taken at that time. Because every veteran who takes that oath is also saying, I do solemnly swear to keep my mind sharp and keep my body fit for the service of my country. They're saying, I do agree to endure hardship and discomfort for hours, days, in the case of some of our prisoners of war, years and years at a time. They're saying, I do agree to subordinate my dreams and my personal desires for the greater good of my team, for my mission, for my state, for my nation. And they're saying, I do agree to be absent year after year from my family on holidays, from those graduation events. I do agree to miss birthdays and all those other things that I hold dear as part of my community and my family. I think it's also important that we note that while it's not spoken, when our veterans take that oath, when our service members take that oath, they're also agreeing to an exchange. And it's not spoken in that oath, but what they're agreeing to is that in exchange for this oath I'm taking, I expect to serve a nation that embodies the principles of this Constitution to which I'm taking this oath. And what they're really saying is, in exchange for this oath, I expect my nation to take care of my family and to take care of me if I come home unable to do that. And in some cases, they're saying, if I fall, I expect my nation to honor my memory. So Edison High School, thank you for fulfilling your side of the oath. I want to thank everyone in your community for living the principles of the Constitution. I want to thank our veterans for their service, because we are fortunate to live in a great nation and a great state with incredible patriotism and a great patriotism here in the state of Ohio. Unfortunately, we enjoy serving with elected officials who also care for our veterans and ensure that they're going to meet their part of the oath. Our next speaker is one of those. Governor Mike DeWine is our 70th governor. He has been in public service his entire adult life, for the most part. And throughout that entire time, he has always ensured that our state, our nation, and our communities take care of their veterans. Even as recently as the 31st of August, when he introduced an initiative to ensure that our veteran services organizations had resources to take care of the mental health and the addiction services for our veterans. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to introduce the 70th Governor of Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine.
Thank you all very much, General. Thank you. Please proceed. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. It's great to be in Edison High School today, and let me first start off by thanking the veterans who are here. Thank you, each and every one of you, for your service. This is what Veterans Day is about. It's the opportunity for us to say thank you, the opportunity for us to remember what our veterans have done. Let me say thank you to the Scouts. Some of them were Eagles, some are aspiring Eagles. We thank them for coming out and doing the pledge and doing the color guard. Appreciate that very much. And then there's the show choir who was over here. Let's give them a hand as well. Great work. And the leadership students who organized this today, let's give them a hand as well. Thank you very much. So we just appreciate what everyone did. This was a lovely ceremony. My one request I would have to all the students is for them to think about who and find out who might be in their family who is a veteran. Sometimes our veterans don't talk about what they've done. They just did it. And so my guess is that some of you may know a veteran in your family. You may have a friend of the family who's a veteran. But it might be something to ask your parents about. Maybe you have a parent, maybe you have a grandparent, maybe you have a great-grandparent. And if they're still alive, it might be a good opportunity the next time you see them to just ask them about their experience, what they did. Because again, usually veterans, if you ask them, they'll tell you, but if you don't ask them, they might not be telling you about it. And we just, it's another way that we can really say thank you for them. And I think it's important for us to know who in our lives have been veterans, and for them to maybe share a little bit about that experience. Veterans Day, we pay tribute to all our veterans, whether living or dead. It's a time to give thanks to those who served our country, to pay tribute to them. This day, of course, here at Edison High School, we particularly pay tribute to the hero, Edison High School graduate, Navy Corpsman Maxton Soviak. And I know everyone here today is thinking of him. He joined the Navy to make a difference. He made a difference. He faced incredible risk to help his fellow Americans and our allies, people who had helped us in Afghanistan, get out of Afghanistan. We continue to think about him. We continue to mourn him. We continue to remember his family. We also remember the other families in Ohio who have lost men and women who have served in our armed forces. To all those who died in service to our country, all of them represented the different faces of Ohio. It was my privilege, honor, during the time I was in the United States Senate, to go to the funerals of men, women who had died in Afghanistan or died in Iraq. And I can tell you that they represent all of Ohio. Some came from the smallest villages in our state. Some came from the largest cities. Some came from our farms. Some were born here in the United States. Some were not. They came here later, became citizens. Some were only 18, 19, 20, 21 years of age. Others who died were older, 40, 45 years of age. Some had planned their whole life to be in the military. Some had been inspired by the tragedy of September 11th or something else in their life to volunteer and to come forward. Some of them had seen a lot of life, but many of them, their life was only just beginning. All of them shared something in common. All of them were willing to come forward. All of them were willing to make a sacrifice for the rest of us so that we could enjoy the freedom that we enjoy today. Many of you watched Corpsman Soviak's procession as it came down 113. Some of you were there for the funeral that took place on the football field. And I'll tell you that Fran and I were deeply touched by the comments of his siblings and his friends who remembered him and paid tribute to him. I congratulate them. It takes a lot of courage when you're grieving to go up and to talk and to tell about your loved one. So we thank them. Later today, actually when we leave here, Fran and I will visit the Veterans Home in Sandusky. And we visited there before, and it's always inspiring because we have an opportunity to talk to our veterans, a few left from World War II, more from Korea, and Vietnam, and other times. And it's an opportunity again to kind of have them share with us what their experiences have been, and for us to have the opportunity to say thank you. I talked a moment ago about members of your family who might have served in the military. My dad served in World War II. He was an infantry army in Europe. And one of his starkest memories was going into the concentration camp at Dachau. And he was among a group, not the ones who liberated it, not the ones who took it over from the Nazis and freed the prisoners there and freed the victims. But he was there just a few days later, and there were still people who had been kept in the concentration camp and who had survived. But I remember my dad talking about them and how they looked like they'd been starved. He looked at where the executions took place, where they were killed in the showers, and they were told that they were going to take a shower. Instead of a shower, it was really gas. And he kept those memories with him throughout his lifetime. President Lincoln, in 1862, spoke of freedom in his annual address to Congress, and he called our country the last best hope on earth, the last best hope of earth. Our country is built on the principles of self-government, liberty, freedom. Those are values that are worth protecting, and the veterans that we honor today, those who are here, those who are not here, those who are deceased, those who still live, they were protecting those freedoms, and that's what their service, one of the things certainly that their service meant. Our military members are the best, the bravest. They set the example for the rest of us. And those people who join the military do have one thing in common. As General Harris said, they swear an oath. They repeat the military oath of enlistment, military oath of office, and he has recited that for you. They must promise and adhere to that oath for their entire military careers. In the Navy, there's also a creed that sailors live by. Corpsman Soviak lived by that creed. And let me quote it. I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me to defend freedom and democracy around the world. I proudly serve my country's Navy combat team with honor, with courage, and commitment. End of quote. So on this Veterans Day, let's honor those who bravely defended us and have ensured that we have the freedom that we can exercise every single day. Again, congratulations to all of you for putting on a very appropriate service, and particularly having our veterans here, having them come in and being able to honor them. So to Mr. Goodwin, Principal, and all those who helped put this on, thank you all very much, and thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Now we'd like to thank all our military members for all their dedicated services to our country. We appreciate all your efforts to keep the United States free and to help us enjoy the privileges and freedoms we now enjoy. Please stand and be recognized as your military branch is announced. United States Army, please stand. United States Air Force, please stand. United States Navy, please stand. States Marine Corps. Please stand. Thank you very much. Would you all please stand for a moment of silence? Thank you. You may be seated.
As a reminder, Veterans Day is a holiday used to celebrate veterans, and not only in our community, but those throughout the country. Even though this is just one designated day, every single day of the year should be used in order to commemorate veterans for their service and dedication to our country. They do so much for us that most people often take it for granted and look past. They deserve more than just one single day of recognition. Some have given the ultimate sacrifice, and although we cannot thank all of them for their dedication, we can continue to thank the ones still with us. Once again, thank you all for attending this event. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here today and showing us your respect for our veterans, both alive and who are unfortunately no longer with us. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Teen Leadership Corps students, along with Mrs. Seal and Mrs. Davis, for their efforts in planning this Veterans Day Assembly. Yes, thank you. I'd like to give a huge thank you to the team of staff members that came together in the last few days to put all the pieces together to bring this event to fruition. And I'd like to thank the Honor Guard, the choir, and the band students for your participation today. Lastly, I'd like to thank Governor DeWine, First Lady DeWine, Major General Harris, and retired Major General Ashenhurst for taking time out of their busy schedule to be here with us today. I think if we take one thing from today, it should be what our Teen Leadership Corps said so beautifully. Veterans should be honored and celebrated every day of the year for all they have sacrificed to give us the freedoms that we enjoy today. So thank you, veterans. Before we dismiss our students and our guests, we are going to ask the governor and his party to exit this time so they can get to their next destination. Please give the governor, the first lady, and the generals a round of applause for participating today.
Thanks for doing this. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, students, you may be seated. Teen Leadership Corps students, if you could help us, veterans and guests, we really appreciate you coming today and for being here in participation in this ceremony. So we're going to ask you to exit now with help of our Teen Leadership Corps students. So go ahead, students, you can escort our guests out.